The Zarnathi swarm moved like a storm across the stars. Their ships, bloated and pulsing with dark energy, filled the void like locusts. For centuries, they had swept through galaxies, crushing civilizations weaker than theirs. They called themselves the perfect swarm because no species had ever resisted them. No one had ever dared. Earth was their next target. From their command ship, a leviathan the size of a moon, the Zarnathi High Council watched Earth's blue glow on their screens. They saw deserts, oceans, and cities. They saw humans. Small, fragile, and loud. Humans argued in their tiny nations, built bombs they never used, and stared at the stars with hope. The Zarnathi laughed. Primitive, hissed Commander Vrak, his 6 eyes blinking in unison. They cannot even unite their own planet. This will take minutes. The swarm dropped from hyperspace near Mars. Ships fanned out, their weapons charging. Vrak sent a message to Earth. Surrender, serve, or be erased. No reply came. Vrak frowned. They ignore us? How rude. He ordered the attack. On Earth, chaos erupted. Satellites exploded first. Then power grids failed. Cities plunged into darkness. Governments scrambled. The world's leaders met in a hidden bunker under the Himalayas. They looked old, scared, and tired. But when the screens lit up, their faces changed. A young woman stood at the center. Her name was Dr. Ilara Voss, a scientist who had spent decades studying ancient ruins buried under Antarctica. She held a glowing tablet. "It's time," she said. "Activate the vault." The president nodded. "Do it." Ilara pressed a button. Above Earth, the sky split. Not clouds. Not storms. The sky itself tore open like paper. Light poured out, blinding, golden, and hot. The Zarnathi ships froze mid-attack. Sensors overloaded. Alarms screamed. "What is this?" Vrak roared. Then they saw it. From the rift in the atmosphere, shadows emerged. Tall, jagged, and monstrous, they dwarfed the Zarnathi fleet. Star destroyers. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Their hulls were blacker than space, etched with glowing symbols that pulsed like heartbeats. One destroyer moved first. It fired a beam, not at a ship but at the swarm's command vessel. The beam pierced the command ship's armor like foil. Vrak screamed as his body vaporized. Panic spread. "Retreat! Retreat!" the surviving Zarnathi cried. But the destroyers were faster. On Earth, people stared at the sky. In Tokyo, a child pointed. "Look, the monsters are running." In Nairobi, rebels laughed. "They're not monsters. They're prey." In the Himalayan bunker, Dr. Voss smiled. The vault was never a weapon, she told the leaders. It was a memory. She explained. Long ago, Earth had been a hub of power. Humans weren't just humans. They were descendants of star gods who built the destroyers to guard the day galaxy. But war erased their history. The destroyers were hidden. The knowledge was locked in human DNA. Only a true threat could wake them, Ilara said. And the Zarnathi? They were loud enough. Above Mars, the battle ended. The Zarnathi fleet was gone. Not a single ship survived. The destroyers hovered, silent and watchful. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished into the rift. The sky stitched itself back together. Earth was quiet again, but not for long. In the Pacific Ocean, a deep rumble echoed. A destroyer buried under miles of water hummed to life. Its lights flickered. In a lab in Siberia, a teenager collapsed. Her palm burned with the same symbol from the destroyers, and in the stars a new signal blipped. The universe had a new rule. Never underestimate Earth. The world celebrated. Fireworks lit up cities. Crowds danced in streets. Soldiers hugged strangers. The Zarnathi were gone. The star destroyers had saved Earth. But as the smoke cleared, questions rose like a storm. Who or what had protected them? In Antarctica, Dr. Ilara Voss stood in a frozen lab. Snow howled outside, but inside, ancient machines hummed. She stared at a hologram. A map of Earth glowing with red dots. Each dot marked a vault, a hidden chamber holding more star destroyers. There are hundreds, she whispered. Maybe thousands. A soldier frowned. Why wake them? Now? Why not during the wars, the famines? Why wait? Elara shook her head. The destroyers aren't weapons. They're judges. They only act when humanity's survival is certain. The Zarnathi weren't a threat. They were a test. Across the globe, the test's effects spread. In Tokyo, the teenager with the glowing palm, Aiko, woke screaming. Her skin burned with symbols she couldn't read. Her parents called doctors. Scientists arrived. They scanned her, took blood, argued. She's changing, one said. Her DNA, it's rewriting itself. In Siberia, the other marked child, Leo, vanished. Security cameras showed him walking into a forest, then nothing. His sister found his journal. One page repeated the same phrase. They're calling me. In Nairobi, rebels looted a Zarnathi crash site. They found a live alien, half dead, its body oozing black sludge. It hissed. You think this ends here? The swarm has many voices. Above Earth, the star destroyers hovered. From the Himalayan bunker, Elara watched them on a screen. They're waiting, she told the president. For what? The president didn't answer. He was staring at a new report. Signal detected in the Andromeda galaxy. Strength, 10x Zarnathi fleet. A general paled. They've got friends? Elara's voice was cold. No, that's not a friend. That's a warning. The warning came true in 2 days. A ship arrived. Not Zarnathi, not human. It was bigger. The thing dropped from hyperspace near Jupiter, a mountain of metal, shaped like a fanged mouth. Its hull glowed purple and its engine spat lightning. It sent no message. It fired no shots. It just hovered. Elara's team scrambled. Scans say it's empty. No life signs, but... She paused. Its weapons are aimed at Earth's sun. The president choked. Why? Because we're not the only ones hiding. Secrets, Elara said. That ship isn't here to attack us. It's here to protect something under the sun. On Earth, panic brewed. Riots broke out in Paris. A cult in Brazil declared the destroyers were gods. In the U.S., hackers leaked files. Project Starlight, U.S. tried to build a destroyer in 1962. Failed. Crew vanished. A conspiracy. Theorists live-streamed. They're not saving us. They're using us. The destroyers need humanity to work. No one believed him, until Aiko's town went dark. In Tokyo, Aiko's hospital exploded. Not bombed. Exploded. Walls vaporized. Patients gone. Only Aiko remained, floating mid-air, her body wrapped in golden light. Her eyes glowed. Her voice echoed. I can hear them. The soldiers aimed guns. She turned. The weapons melted. I'm not sick, she said. I'm awake. She vanished in a flash. In the Pacific Ocean, the hidden destroyer stirred. Its lights blazed. Its engines groaned. It rose from the deep dragging islands underwater. Waves crashed across Asia. Tsunami sirens wailed. In the Himalayan bunker, Elara screamed, It's active! Someone's inside! Who? The president yelled. Elara stared at the screen. A figure stood on the destroyer's bridge. A man, in a tattered lab coat, his face half robotic, half human. His voice crackled over comms. Elara, you've opened Pandora's box. Now you get to meet the monsters. She froze. That's impossible. Who is he? Elara whispered. He's the reason the destroyers were buried. My father. Above the sun, the alien ship moved. It fired. Not at Earth, but at the star. A beam of anti-light pierced the sun's core. The sky turned black. On Earth, people screamed. Plants withered, animals dropped dead. Elara shouted, They're killing the sun to hide something. The president grabbed her. Fix it. I can't, she cried. But the destroyers might. She ran to a console, pressed a button. A signal blipped. Above Earth, the destroyers roared to life. In the stars, the signal spread. Across galaxies, more ships stirred. Some were star destroyers. Others were worse. In a forgotten void, a machine opened its eye. Humanity awakens, it said. Begin the purge. Style. Third person, fast-paced, simple English. Mixes global chaos, personal stakes, Aiko, Ilara's father, and cosmic threats. Ends with a cliffhanger. The purge begins. The sun was dying. For billions of years it had burned bright, fueling life on Earth. Now its light flickered like a candle in a storm. The alien ship's beam had carved a wound into its core, and dark tendrils of anti-energy bled outward. Crops wilted. Oceans froze. Cities plunged into endless night. But the star destroyers rose to meet the darkness. Above Earth's atmosphere, the fleet split into formations. Their jagged hulls glowed with ancient symbols, pulsing in rhythm, like a heartbeat. The lead destroyer, a monolith named Vigilance Wrath, fired a beam of golden light at the alien ship. The beam struck a shield and shattered into sparks. "They're blocking us," Commander Jax shouted from the Himalayan bunker. "Their tech is older than the destroyers." Ilara Voss stared at the screen, her mind racing. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. "You've opened Pandora's box." She clenched her fists. "We need answers. Now." Beneath the Pacific Ocean, the awakened destroyer surged upward. Its hull groaned as it broke the surface, dragging tsunamis in its wake. On its bridge stood Dr. Elias Voss, Ilara's father. His face was half human, half machine, his eyes glowing like dying stars. "Coordinates locked," hissed a robotic voice. "Target, solar core." Elias smiled. "Finally, the truth will burn." In Tokyo, Aiko knelt in the ruins of her hospital. Her palms still glowed, the symbols etched deeper into her skin. She could feel the destroyers, their rage, their hunger for justice. But another voice called to her, faint and desperate. "Leo." She turned to a soldier. "Where is Siberia?" In Siberia, Leo trudged through a blizzard. The mark on his palm burned, pulling him north. Trees cracked under ice and the sky shimmered with auroras. He stumbled into a cave. Inside, walls glowed with the same symbols as the destroyers. A voice whispered, "You are the key." Leo collapsed as memories flooded his mind. Images of a golden city, a war that shattered stars, and a child with his face screaming as the sun died. Back at the sun, the alien ship fired again. A second beam tore into the core. The sky turned pitch black. Birds fell from the sky. In Antarctica, glaciers exploded into steam. Ilara slammed her fist on the bunker table. "Why are they doing this?" Jax panted. "Scans show something under the sun. A structure. It's alive." "A prison," Ilara whispered. "They're not destroying the sun. They're freeing something." Elias watched Earth shrink on his destroyer's screen. He tapped a command and the ship's AI projected a hologram, a star map dotted with red dots. Each dot marked a prison like the one under the sun. "They buried them all," Elias muttered. "The architects, and now I'll finish what they started." He turned to a console and pressed his hand to it. The destroyer's symbols flared brighter. Aiko arrived in Siberia by stolen jet. Soldiers carried her to Leo's cave. When she touched his hand, their marks merged into a single glowing line. Leo gasped awake. "The prisons. They hold the architects, the ones who built the destroyers." Aiko's eyes widened. "And your dad wants to free them?" "No," Leo said. "He wants to kill them. Before they kill us." The alien ship shuddered as the destroyers closed in. Its engines spat lightning and its hull split open. From its core emerged a creature of pure shadow, a being that screamed without sound, its form shifting like smoke. It spoke directly into human minds. "The architects are guilty. The purge is just." Ilara froze. Purge? Of what? The creature raised a claw. Earth's skies filled with stars. Millions of them, each blinking out one by one. Of life, Ilara whispered. Elias's destroyer lunged at the alien ship. Its cannons fired, but the creature absorbed the blasts. It retaliated with a wave of darkness tearing metal apart. Elias's ship groaned, its lights dimming. "Father," Aiko screamed, though he couldn't hear her. Leo gripped her hand. "We can stop this. The architects left us away. How? By finishing what they started." In the Himalayan bunker, Ilara typed furiously. "There's a fail-safe in the destroyers, a self-destruct. If we trigger it, we can take out the alien ship and the prison. But the destroyers are all we have," Jax argued. Ilara's voice hardened. "If we don't, Earth dies anyway." She pressed the button. Across the galaxy, destroyers began to glow. Above Earth, they formed a ring around the alien ship. Their symbols blazed white-hot. The creature roared, slashing at them, but it was too late. The first destroyer exploded. Then, the next, then all of them. The blast tore through the alien ship, vaporizing its shadowy core. The prison under the sun imploded, dragging the creature into oblivion. On Earth, the sun flickered, then reignited. Light poured back into the world. Ice melted, crops sprouted, birds sang, but the destroyers were gone. In the Pacific, Elias's ship drifted, damaged but intact. He stared at the sun, his machine eye sparking. No, the architects are still out there. On Siberia's tundra, Aiko and Leo held hands, their marks fading. "We'll find them," Aiko said. "Together." In the Himalayan bunker, Ilara stared at a new signal on her screen. It pulsed from the edge of the galaxy, a single word repeated in the destroyer's ancient code. Earth breathed again. The sun burned bright. Crops grew, cities rebuilt. But the star destroyers, the ancient guardians that had saved humanity, were gone. In their place lingered a single word, pulsing from the edge of the galaxy. Run. Ilara. Voss stared at the message in the Himalayan bunker. Her fingers trembled above the keyboard. The president stood behind her, silent. The world's leaders waited. "We have to act," she said. "Now." Across the globe, survivors of the HFY War whispered rumors. In Tokyo, Aiko trained alone in the ruins of her hospital. Her glowing symbols had faded, but her mind buzzed with strange thoughts, memories that weren't hers, voices in a language older than time. She could feel something coming, a shadow at the edge of the stars. In Siberia, Leo wandered the tundra, his palm burning. The mark was gone, but the pull remained. It led him to a frozen lake, where he saw his reflection, not as a boy but as a warrior in golden armor holding a blade of light. In the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Elias Voss limped through his damaged destroyer. His machine eye flickered as he studied, a hologram of the galaxy. Red dots blinked near the Milky Way's core, dozens of them. "The architects," he muttered. "They're coming home." The first sign of doom arrived in the form of silence. Satellites went dead. Radars failed. Birds vanished from the skies. Then a ship dropped from hyperspace near Pluto, a colossal sphere of black crystal, its surface etched with the same symbols as the destroyers. Ilara's team scrambled. "It's not Zarnathi. It's not anything we've seen." The sphere opened like a flower. From its core spilled a swarm of machines, sleek, silver, and hungry. They devoured asteroids, planets, even light itself. "They're mining the solar system," Jax growled. "For what?" Ilara's voice was hollow. "Fuel for something worse." Aiko collapsed in Tokyo as a new vision struck. She saw a planet, a garden of golden towers, rivers of fire, and beings of light walking among stars. Then came the war. The destroyers rose. The sky cracked. The architects fled, burying their prisons in stars. She gasped awake. "They're not just coming, they're here." Leo's pull led him to a cave beneath the lake. Inside, walls glowed with symbols. A machine hummed in the dark, a silver orb no bigger than his fist. It spoke in a voice like wind. "You are the last key. Open the door." Leo touched the orb. The cave shook. Ice shattered. A portal yawned open, a tunnel of light stretching into the earth. He stepped inside. Ilara received a new signal. It wasn't from space. It was from the moon. She boarded a shuttle with a team of soldiers. As they landed, the moon's surface split open, revealing a buried chamber. Inside, a destroyer lay dormant, smaller than the others but intact. It survived the self-destruct, Ilara whispered. Why? The destroyer's symbols flared. A hologram appeared, a woman in golden armor, her face identical to Ilara's. To humanity. If this is found, the architects have returned. You must flee, or become them. Elias's destroyer limped toward the swarm. His screens showed the machines devouring Saturn's rings. He snarled, rerouting power to weapons. You want fuel? Try this. The destroyer fired. The blast tore through dozens of machines, but more replaced them. A voice crackled over comms, calm, cold, and ancient. Dr. Voss, your experiments ended billions of lives. Now you will answer. Elias froze. Father? The voice hissed. I am what your father became. We are the architects, and Earth is our failure. Aiko joined Leo in the portal. They emerged in a cavern of light. At its center stood a pedestal holding a crystal, a tiny pulsing star. The orb spoke again. This is the seed, the source of the destroyer's power. The architects tried. To destroy it, you must plant it. Where? Aiko asked. In the heart of your world. Leo paled. You mean Earth? Ilara raced back to the Himalayas. The president met her, sweating. The machines are here. Mars is gone. Ilara slammed a fist on the table. We need the seed, whatever it takes. Jax frowned. What's the seed? A chance, she said, to end this. Elias's destroyer exploded. He survived, ejected into space. His machine eye showed the swarm nearing Earth. The voice taunted him. Your children will die with your mistakes. He laughed, blood bubbling on his lips. Let them try. He pressed a button on his suit. A signal blipped. From the Pacific. The last destroyer rose. Aiko and Leo planted the seed in Antarctica. The ground shook. Light erupted. The seed sank into the ice, spreading roots of fire across the globe. Humans collapsed as the energy surged through them, symbols blooming on their skin, memories flooding their minds. Aiko screamed. They're waking up! Leo gasped. The architects! They're in us! The swarm reached Earth. Cities burned. The oceans boiled. The destroyer from the Pacific fought alone, tearing through machines with claws of light. Ilara watched from the bunker, tears streaming. Then, the seed's light hit the destroyer. It changed. Metal fused with energy. Its symbols blazed gold. It roared, a sound that shook the stars. The swarm faltered. A voice echoed across the planet. Not the architects, not the destroyers. Human. You called us failures, but we are your children, and we will not die. The light from the seed surged into the sky, forming a shield around Earth. Machines disintegrated. The swarm's leader screamed, Impossible! You cannot use the code without the architects! Ilara stepped forward, her palm glowing. We're not using the code. We're rewriting it. The architect's voice faded. The swarm scattered. Earth was safe. But the humans had changed. Aiko's eyes glowed. Leo's hand sparked with energy. Millions worldwide bore the seed's mark. The destroyer hovered, awaiting new orders. Ilara stared at the stars. They'll come back. Jax nodded. Then we'll be ready. In the Pacific, the destroyer hummed. Its lights flickered with a new symbol, a human hand gripping a star. The architects had returned, and humanity was no longer afraid. The sky burned. Earth's atmosphere crackled with energy as the seed's light surged into space. The swarm's machines melted into slag. The architect's voice screamed through comms, "You cannot escape your nature. You are chaos. You are death." Ilara Voss stood on the roof of the Himalayan bunker, her palm glowing gold. "We're not your failure," she hissed. "We're your end." The seed's shield pulsed. In Tokyo, Aiko knelt in the ruins of her hospital. Her skin shimmered with light. Symbols danced across her arms, not etched but alive, shifting like fire. She could feel every heartbeat on Earth, millions of minds waking to the same truth. "They're in us," she whispered. "The architects. Their code, but we're rewriting it." Leo stood beside her, his fists clenched. His mark had spread, veins glowing faintly blue. "They wanted to erase us. Now we're part of their system." He grinned. "Time to crash it." The swarm regrouped near Venus. Their black crystal sphere reassembled, shards knitting together like a wound closing. From its core, a new signal blared. "Primordial code engaged. Eradicate Earth." Elias Voss watched from his damaged destroyer, half his face sparking. "They're activating the final protocol," he muttered. "They'll turn the planet to ash." He slammed his fist on the console. "Not today." The destroyer roared toward Earth. The seed's light reached the Pacific Fleet. The last active destroyer, a jagged monolith named Dawn's Edge, shuddered. Its hull fused with the seed's energy, metal melting into something sleeker, brighter. A new symbol bloomed on its side, a human hand gripping a star. "It's alive," Alara said, "but not theirs anymore." The destroyer fired. A beam of white-hot light tore through the swarm sphere. The architect's ship cracked, its core pulsing like a dying heart. Leo grabbed Aiko's hand. "We can stop this together." Ishii nodded. "The seed needs a focus, a mind strong enough to guide it." He frowned. "You mean you?" "No." She squeezed his hand. "Us." They closed their eyes. The seed's energy surged through them, memories flooding in. Ancient wars, the birth of stars, the architect's first experiments on primitive life. Aiko gasped. "They're not gods, just scientists. Scared scientists." Leo opened his eyes. They glowed gold. "Then let's teach them fear." Alara received a new signal. It wasn't from the destroyer. It was from inside the seed, a map, coordinates. "Beneath Antarctica's ice." "Jax," she shouted. "Get a team ready. We're going underground." The president blocked her path. "Why? What's down there?" She glared. "The end of this war. Or the start of the next." Elias's destroyer collided with the swarm. Metal clashed. Explosions lit the void. A machine latched onto his ship, drilling into the hull. Elias rerouted power to the engines, ramming the swarm headfirst. His comms crackled. "Father." He turned. Aiko's voice. "You don't have to die," she said. "Let us help." He laughed bitterly. "I buried the destroyers to protect you. I failed." Her voice softened. "No, you gave us a chance, that's all we needed." The seed's light hit his ship. His machine eye flared. Pain seared through his body as the architect's code burned away. When the light faded, he looked at his hands. Human again. Impossible. Beneath Antarctica, Ilara found the vault. It was smaller than the others, buried in ice. Inside, a single pod hummed, a stasis chamber holding a figure in golden armor. The hologram beside it flickered. Architect Prime, last of the creators, guilty of extermination. Sentence, eternal imprisonment. Alara froze. "This is him. The one who started it all." Jax aimed his gun. "Blow it up." "No." She stepped closer. "We need him alive. For answers." The pod hissed open. The swarm's leader screamed as the seed's light engulfed Earth. Machines disintegrated. The sphere shattered. The architect's voice faltered. You cannot. We are. The destroyer fired one last shot. The swarm vanished. The world fell silent. In Tokyo, birds sang. In Siberia, the snow melted. Across the globe, humans with glowing marks stared at their hands, unsure what they'd become. Aiko collapsed, gasping. Leo caught her. Did we win? She smiled weakly. Yeah, but the universe just got a lot scarier. Ilara stood over. The architect. He was frail, humanoid, bald with silver skin and hollow eyes. He coughed, his voice rasping. You think this ends with me? She knelt. What's out there? He laughed, then choked on blood. The real architects, the ones who made us, He gripped her arm. They'll come. They always do. His body crumbled to ash. Elias limped into the Himalayan bunker. Ilara met him, her face grim. He told us the truth, the ones we fought. They were just apprentices. He cursed. Then we've only delayed the inevitable. She shook her head. No, we bought time. And time means hope. Outside, the destroyer hovered. Its symbol glowed brighter. Aiko and Leo stood on a frozen lake. The seed's light had faded, but its power remained. Aiko stared at her reflection, older now, fiercer. Leo's mark had dimmed, but his eyes sparkled with new ideas. They'll need leaders, he said. The new humans, the ones like us. She nodded. And warriors, scientists, dreamers. He grinned. You think we're ready? She looked at the stars. Nope. But we're here. Years passed. Humanity changed. Some embraced the seed's gifts, telekinesis, teleportation, minds that could rewrite reality. Others feared it, clinging to the old world. Nations dissolved. New cities rose, powered by destroyer tech. The surviving Zarnathi ships surrendered, awed by Earth's power. The destroyer became a guardian, orbiting the planet like a silent promise. Never again. Ilara trained a new generation of scientists. Elias vanished into space, hunting for the real architects. Aiko and Leo led the first colony ship to Mars, now a garden under a dome of light. One night, Aiko stood on Mars's red sands. A signal blipped from the stars. A new message, pulsing in the destroyer's ancient code. She read it and smiled. Leo approached. What does it say? She looked at him, eyes glowing. Same thing it always did. Run.